To briefly go through, let's see, the FrameSlice, just because sometimes I had an epiphany recently and figured out how to make it all work out. Let's see here. So you can go to our websites, you can go to SAXS, and there are all our tools here. The FrameSlice tool is right there. And I got, let's see, I had a folder open for this. And of course I don't have it open right this second, but let me find a good one. Let me find a good one. This is GFP. Let's see if I have some data. Well, not perfect. Not perfect example. Where did I put you? Oh yeah, I had it right here. I actually organized it. So here's a well, A11, and I found that the best way to get the data over, at least that works for me, is to take the whole directory and drag it over into the drop spot there. And so sometimes if I go into the file and I manually select and dump it over, something happens that it doesn't like. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. And again, Chris, this is somewhat of Chris's data. I hope it doesn't kill her that I'm using a little bit of it. The reason I'm using it is because this one has some radiation damage in it. And so what you're seeing here is the protein on first exposure, and then all 50 frames or so averaged together, black and orange. I can go into 3 regions. I can go into the Gunier region and start adding frames on. And I can see that on even just the first 12 frames or so, there's already radiation damage. So I really want to back off. In this case, this is a particularly radiation sensitive sample. I get a sense of how much radiation damage I'm occurring on a 0.3 second time scale just by going between 1 and 2 and see how bad it is or what's the worst case scenario. And I think in this case, I dropped the data collection time once I saw this was happening for her further. So subsequent wells were exposed for less. But anyway, there's you want to decide when radiation damage is happening. You can then do several scalings here and look at how the other regions occur. I pick the Gunier to do first. Then I look at the Porod. If I add too many frames, I introduce a step function to the data. That would be a terrible thing to do because a Fourier transform of a step function is a whole bunch of wiggles. And so what you really want to make sure is that you've got a smooth transition between your regions. So if I back it off, clearly back here even there's a bunch, right? So because there's a lot of damage in this particular sample, it's super sensitive. I might want to move the Gunier region over a bit. Okay, so now I've just extended the Gunier region a little bit so that only 2 frames are there. But now I can use 4 frames in the new Porod region, so I can kind of manipulate this. And now I can kind of look at the data, and I can now look at the high Q region. I can add a bunch of frames there. And again, in our weekly workshops, I can go through this in more detail. But I can see that there's really not much sensed radiation damage in the high Q, and that might go into the Porod region, so I can increase the high Q region. And so here I'm sort of maximizing. So I've got 2 frames in this amount of data. I've got 4 frames in the yellow and the vanilla, and then 23 frames in the strawberry. So that is FrameSlice. And that is a web tool that you can access at any time.